All right, it's time to get cozy. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a girl talk video. Over the past few weeks I've asked you guys a few questions over on Instagram and on YouTube, and I've just compiled a list of questions when it comes to relationships, intimacies, breakups, self-confidence, self-image, and things like that, and we're going to be chatting all about that in today's video. Let me know if you guys like this kind of video, and if you do, and we'll probably do them like once every few months, and so we can kind of just like get personal, chat a little bit, learn about experiences, and for you guys to like get my advice on stuff and for me to learn from you as well. All right guys, so grab a cute drink and a snack and no pencil and paper because we're going to be chatting our way through this video. Okay, so I'm having a green tea because it's kind of chilly now. We're entering like the fall season, which is why like, hello, fall colors, we're so into it. But basically it's been getting kind of cold here, so having a really warm drink and being kind of bundled up in our little blanket is like really the vibe for today. So I hope you guys are bundled, grab a cute snack, and just enjoy your time. So first off, thank you to you guys for sending over your questions. I really appreciated them. Honestly, it was amazing to hear from you. So thank you so much. And what I've done is just taken all your questions and put them into like different categories, and we can chat about them in like a general basis. I got quite a few questions around the idea of self-love and what self-love actually looks like and how to practice self-love on an everyday basis. So right off the bat, I can tell you guys, honestly, self-love is the most beautiful journey that you can ever embark on. For me, self-love actually came kind of like at an unexpected time. So I was actually in a very long-term relationship with somebody for about 5.5, 6 years. And when that relationship ended, guys, like when I tell you I had no sense of self, I truly like didn't even know who I was. Like if you asked me, who are you, Ash? And like, what are your hobbies and what are things that you enjoy about yourself? I really couldn't tell you. I was absolutely lost myself in that relationship, lost everything to do with me. And that's when I realized I was like, okay, well, I need to fill that void. And so I jumped into this pattern of literally trying to seek validation from like anything and not really taking the time to dive into myself. And it took so much, guys, for me to like literally look at myself in the mirror and be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you not falling in love with you? And it got to a point, guys, where like I realized I was neglecting the one person that's always been there with me, and that was myself. And I realized I was like, okay, no, I need to make a difference in my life and I need to look introspectively. And truly, when I tell you, I was so alone, like alone to the point where I realized that there was only one person I could nurture, and that was myself. And so I looked introspectively and I made the decision to actively learn to love myself for who I am. And to be honest, the breakup was the catalyst for that. It was what really pushed me in the direction of finally realizing that I need to pour love into myself. And so once I made that decision, honestly, I embarked on this journey of really learning about me, learning about what makes me happy, taking myself on solo dates, and having really difficult conversations with myself to get into the nitty-gritty of my trauma, get into the things that I've been through and what I need to kind of navigate. If you feel like you need validation from other people, if you feel like you're people pleasing, if you feel like you're in friendships that don't satisfy you, or you're in relationships, or you kind of continuously hop in and out of relationships to fill a void, please sit with yourself and recognize if that might be you literally telling yourself that you need to find self-love. And if that is the case, please embark on that journey. That journey of self-love will be what brings you into the next level of your life. Self-love pours into every single area of your life. It's going to make you recognize things about yourself that you never knew. You're literally going to embark on this journey of realizing who you are, what you bring to the table, and literally raise your standards when it comes to everything. Your dating standards will go up. The standards you have for friends and family will go up as well. And you'll become so confident in yourself because you've taken the time to know yourself and recognize who you are as a person. I really recommend, guys, if you're going through this and you have those feelings, to look introspectively and recognize that self-love at the end of the day is one of the most beautiful things you can have for yourself. And trust the journey, trust the process. And you know what? I'm not even going to sit here and say that it's not a lonely journey. It's such a lonely journey. Like, there will be days where you'll sit and you'll be like, but it's actually easier for me to like talk to somebody else or like get attention from this guy or this and that. But when I tell you, it's not going to be meaningful at the end of the day if you don't have self-love in yourself and you don't choose the difficult path of embarking on that journey for yourself. It's not going to be meaningful. So please go through the journey and just trust yourself in this process of recognizing that that's what's best for you. And practicing self-love can honestly be in so many different forms. Like, it can be from the hard emotional stuff of really sitting with yourself, journaling, doing voice notes, talking to yourself. Also, like, doing fun things with yourself. You can like take yourself out on solo dates or just like spend time with you, you know, like do things that make you happy every single day. Pour into yourself, pour into your mental health and your well-being, and you'll see yourself slowly change with time and develop that beautiful relationship with yourself. And know you're not alone. Look, we all go through it. We all have days where we doubt ourselves. We have lower self-esteem, lower self-confidence, but learning to have self-love will actually help you in all those aspects. Question number 2, I got a lot of questions around intimacy and like how to know if you should be intimate with a person or what intimacy really looks like and things like that. To be honest, the day and age we live in with intimacy right now, there's so much hookup culture. There's so much like situationships and all those things. And guys, okay, I'm just gonna say it. I'm not a fan of situationships. I really just don't understand the point of being in a situationship with someone. And for those of you that don't know what a situationship is, it's basically like when you and a person are emotionally and physically involved, but there's no commitment, there's no strings attached. It's basically like doom. I don't know why we do it. But at the end of the day, to avoid those two situations of like hookup culture and situationships, you really just have to have a lot of self-respect for yourself. You have to understand what it is you're willing to accept and what it is you're not. Look, if you're looking for like a meaningful long-term relationship, don't be in a situationship. Don't be in hookup culture, because at the end of the day, that doesn't lead you to your outcome of what you actually want for yourself. So be clear on what it is that you want. And for those of you that are going through situations where, let's say you're with a person and that person is kind of like pushing you to be intimate, understand that the right person wouldn't do that to you. The right person is not going to make you feel pressurized to be with them in that aspect of, you know, physical intimacy. That is not what the right person for you would do. One thing I always do is I always ask myself this question: would my husband do this? Would my husband pressurize me to be intimate with him? If the answer is no, then that person's not my husband. Goodbye. Think about it in that aspect, okay? So think about it as, what would your ideal partner do? Would they do that to you? And if not, then it's not for you. Another question I got was around the idea of like self-respect and how to refrain yourself from being intimate with a person. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. This kind of flows with that previous question about self-love. The more that you love yourself, the more that you'll recognize and love your body for what it does for you. Look, your body is a vessel. It is a beautiful thing that you have. You've been given this body. Take care of it. Cherish it. Love it for everything that it is. It breathes every day for you. It loves you every single day. Your heart beats for you. Your lungs work for you. Your mind lets you come up with these beautiful ideas and lets you thrive in your life. Every part of your body is doing something meaningful for you. So please respect it. Please understand that the person you allow into that part of you needs to deserve that. Don't just give it out freely. Recognize with self-love that this is a beautiful thing that's been given to you, and so you need to protect it. Protect it at all costs. And like I said, the right person will not pressurize you into situations like that. So believe in that and believe that you can do this. Don't get thrown into situationships and what people believe is like love nowadays. If it doesn't sit well with you, your soul, and what you believe in your sense of self, don't do it, okay? And don't feel pressurized by everybody else to do it, because you need to be free in your thinking and understand that what you think actually matters. People pressurizing you into doing it, evaluate those relationships. Evaluate if your friends are pressurizing you to do certain things, why they're thinking that for you. You need to get clear on who you are and what you want out of your life. And if it's not that, then that's okay. You have a right to be who you are and to love yourself and be free in who you are. And something else I'm gonna urge you to do is, when you have feelings of wanting to be intimate with a person, understand where those are coming from. Is it coming from a need of validation, a need of that person wanting you? Is that what the core root of it is? Because if it is, then now what you can do with knowing that is work backwards to heal that. So it's always a good thing to kind of look introspectively in yourself and ask yourself the tough questions, because at the end of the day, it's gonna help you kind of get a better understanding of like what it is you're actually dealing with. This next question was actually one of the questions I had to think about quite a bit. And it was, how do you know when you're with the one? So the person that asked me this question, you made me think about the answer to this one, but this is a phenomenal question. I think honestly, you'll know when you're with the one or somebody that is compatible with you when you energetically feel aligned with them, when things just feel correctly. Because guys, your feelings are pieces of information, right? Like your gut and your feelings are telling you things. So believe what it's telling you. Something that I've learned over the years when it comes to love is actually like calm. It's peaceful. It's not chaotic and like, you know what we see in like The Notebook and stuff where people are like running to each other and like overwhelmed and all that. That's not love, guys, okay? Like love is not that. You're allowed to have butterflies though. You're allowed to feel excited when you talk to that person or when you're with that person. But true love and compatible love is actually, in fact, calm and peaceful and understanding and respectful. Those are all qualities of like finding the right person for you. Understand that also like compatibility is a huge thing. So how do you guys like communicate? Do you have conflict resolution? Are you open? Do you feel like your attachment style, which by the way, guys, if you don't know what your attachment style is, I highly recommend that you please go and learn about attachment styles and which ones you are. So for me personally, I'm a secure, leaning, anxious attachment style. So because I know what my attachment style is, when I go on and like date, I keep that in mind. I think about like partners and how their attachment style meshes with mine. So I'll give you guys a little bit of like a background on like my dating experiences. One person I was actually with, I was in a short-term relationship with this person. They were extremely avoidant in their attachment style. And this triggered a lot of anxious attachment that would come out from me. So I'd feel like anxious. I'd feel, on edge and like walking on eggshells, and they'd be hot and cold and kind of like pull away when things got really hard. And for me, that was not an ideal situation because that triggers my anxious attachment style. And I didn't like the way that I felt in that situation. But because I'm aware of my attachment style and I'm aware of triggers and aware of kind of like the whole attachment situation and have come to terms with it, I knew that that person was likely not the person for me. And guys, this is something else I'm going to tell you. When a person is right for you, you're going to feel it. And when a person is not right for you, you're also going to feel it. And with this person, I just kind of like knew. I was like, look, like my husband would not do this. My husband would not pull away from me and not want to talk to me and not want to engage with me. And that's how I felt with that person. Right off the bat, I knew that attachments were not aligning there. With another person that I actually dated for a little bit, I felt like they didn't trigger my anxious attachment style. They actually triggered a very secure attachment style in me, which made me feel calm and cared for. There was good communication, good kind of balance between the both of us. And that showed me that there are people out there that are secure and that I can have good relationships with. And it kind of taught me a little bit about like attachment styles and like what to really look for when it comes to dating and my attachment style. So for those of you that haven't delved into attachment styles, I highly recommend that you guys like go and look into it and like learn about your attachment style, learn about other attachment styles so you can know kind of like the little signs and stuff of what those look like in another person. Understand that the person that's like the one for you, you're going to complement each other, okay? Like you and the right person would complement each other. You'd complement each other when it comes to like life. Like think about your lifestyles. Like how are you guys in terms of lifestyle? Like do you guys wake up at the same time, go to bed at the same time? What are your routines like? Like what are your self-care habits like? Like all those things like really matter. Think about those things when it comes to like the person you're talking to or when you're actively dating. Like is there compatibility there? Do you guys complement each other? Do you believe in each other's goals? Do you believe in each other's dreams? The one believes in your dreams, okay? They believe in your goals. They want to support you. They want to help you. They bring out like the best version of you. That is what the one does for you. That is what the person you should be with should do for you. And if you're with somebody that makes you steer away from your schedule, doesn't really align with your goals, there's frequent conflict and there's no conflict resolution or kind of like peaceful place with each other, there's no compatibility in terms of like hobbies and the things that you like to do, think about it, right? Is that person really the right person for you? The right person wants to see you do well. They want to see you succeed as much as you want to see them succeed. They want to be there with you on your journey. They want to love you and pour into you in a way that's authentic to them. And guys, there was this really great quote that I read, and this ties back to self-love because guys, everything ties back to self-love. I literally can't even stress this more, but there was like a quote where it was like a person was asking another person, how do you love so deeply? And the person replied saying, I love so deeply because I love myself so deeply. So when I love another person, I love them authentically for who they are, not what they provide to me. And this is the thing when it comes to the one and compatibility and self-love in this entire journey. It's really just you being able to love them authentically for who they are. Thorns and everything, okay? Because there's no such thing as a perfect person. Nobody's ever going to be perfect. But if you find somebody that's compatible with you and you have, you complement each other and things flow nicely and your feelings are feeling good, then you might have found a person that's correct for you and good for your life, good for your soul. And this is why it's so important to differentiate between attachment and love, because I think we don't do this enough. We always think that attachment is love, and attachment is not love, because attachment means it comes with conditions of loving that person or that person loving you. It means I love you because you love me. That's not love, guys. Love is authentic. It is unconditional. It is free from any strings. It is allowing a person to do what's best for them, even when sometimes, it's what what your ego or your greed or your pride doesn't always want. It's looking at that person as their own individual that has thorns and things that they're going through, but you still love them regardless. That's what unconditional, true love looks like from the one. Also, this idea of like soulmates. So personally for me, I don't believe we have one soulmate. I actually believe that we have multiple soulmates in life, and your soulmate doesn't have to be like a guy. Your soulmate can literally be like anybody. So I have a cousin that I'm really close with, and I believe she's one of my soulmates. The way that we connect and how compatible we are with each other and just how much unconditional love we have for each other, like she's definitely one of my soulmates. And my previous long-term relationship, I think that person was also one of my soulmates. A soulmate in my mind is somebody that you have an emotional tie with that is unconditional, that is pure, that is loving, but that doesn't necessarily always mean that that person is there for your entire life. Some people are there for just a little moment, a season, a few years, etc., and some people are there for a lifetime. That's completely okay. Look, the trajectory of your life and what it's set out to be is already written for you. So allow yourself to embrace the journey of it. Allow yourself to experience all that life has to offer. At the end of the day, the journey is way better than the destination. Oh my God, guys, I'm yapping like so much. Next question. How do you manage feeling overwhelmed, or how do you overcome after a heartbreak? This is such a good question because you know what? I feel like there's not enough information about heartbreaks and like how it actually feels going through one. So like I was just saying, I was in a 6-year relationship with a person, so you can only imagine like how terrible it was when we broke up. But I will tell you guys, honestly, getting through a heartbreak at the beginning when you're going through it the first few months, it's really hard. I sympathize with any of you watching right now that are going through a heartbreak, either in a long-term relationship or even a short-term one. If you were talking to somebody for a little bit and then it didn't work out, like that's still painful, especially if your feelings were like pure and you really like enjoyed that individual. It is still painful. So allow yourself to grieve, allow yourself to go through a process. But one thing I can tell you is at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. The universe wants good things for you. So always recognize the way that things are playing out will always be in your favor. Even if it doesn't feel like it right now, it is always playing out in your favor. So trust the process, trust the universe, trust what's meant for you, because the universe would not sabotage you. It's not out here to get you. So at the end of the day, like whatever happens in situations is going to happen. And if they're meant for you guys, they will come back or you'll figure it out or whatever. But if they're not, that's fine. You'll never see them again. Actually, one thing that's so funny when it comes to breakups is when you know it's like not the right person for you and like you've gone through the healing process and everything, the universe will literally never send them into your life ever again. Think about it. All of you that are watching this right now, how often have you seen an ex after a breakup? I have never seen an ex after a breakup. And I truly believe it's divine protection. The universe is protecting you from things that hurt you and things that are not aligned with you anymore. And it's almost a sign that you're like aligning to something new. You're on a new journey, you're on a new path, and there's so much beauty when it comes to that and thinking about it in that perspective. So I hope that gives you comfort and understanding that like everything that's meant for you will always be for you. I also got a question on like, how do you stop yourself from calling that person or wanting to engage with that person? And I'm going to tell you guys, it all comes down to understanding what's best for you. So I know in these situations, a lot of us will like have the tendency to think, okay, well, I want to reach out to them because I want them to know that I'm here, etc. Great. Wonderful. But do you need to do that? Like ask yourself, do you really need to do that? What does that do for you? Ask yourself that question all the time, okay? And understand that an urge to call is just a feeling. If there's anything you take from this, remember, an urge is just a feeling. Let the feeling pass, guys. At the end of the day, what I recommend is if you're feeling this right now, give yourself some time before you actually decide to take action on what you're feeling. And you'll recognize more times than not that you actually don't even want to do that. So allow yourself the time to really process your feelings. Process how you feel about things. And even if you have to, like write down what's good about calling them and what's good about like not calling them. And you'll be able to actually see it on paper of like, it's probably best that you don't call them and you don't reach out to them. And recognize, guys, that the phone goes both ways. So if they want to talk to you, they'll reach out to you, and have faith and trust in the universe that if they do, they will. And if they don't, that's okay. When it comes to heartbreaks and breakups, like take things at face value. What that person did last is what you take as face value. Stop thinking about the potential. Stop thinking about the what ifs, but, if, ands, and whatever. What that person did to you is what you take at face value. Do not put them on a pedestal. Bring them back down. Bring them back down and recognize who they are right now and what they've shown you to be. You don't need to go out of your way to create all these imaginative thoughts, and take your power back, guys. A person who did something that hurt you and broke your heart, They knew what they were doing. As much as we don't want to believe this, what they did to you, they knew what they were doing to you when they did it to you. And so understand that those were decisions that they made. So take your power back, sit in your energy, understand that your life is actually better without them. No more trauma, right, girl? Like, are we staying up at night and thinking about guys? No. Are we like literally like not eating because of a man? No, we're literally living in our highest energy right now. You are better off in the situation you're in right now. So be grateful for it. Have some gratitude with the things that you're going through right now. So think about it. You're doing another degree. You're working really hard at your goals. You're waking up early. You have a routine. You're eating super healthy. You're going to the gym. You're living your best life. You're hanging out with your friends and reconnecting. You're doing so many things for you. Recognize that. Recognize all the wonderful things that you do for yourself. And this is going to help you when it comes to just knowing that maybe you don't want to go back to that situation. You want to move forward in your life. And also believe, guys, for those of you that are really struggling with this, the right person is out there for you. Trust the process. Trust that everything will fall into place when it's meant to fall into place. Okay, so the last category of questions that I got was, how do you learn to like love life and fall in love with life and be happy after going through so much trauma? I'm just gonna say something. Happiness is a choice. You choose to be happy. When you go through trauma and you've like had so many ups and downs and like life has like thrown you like quite literally hell, it's so easy to take that and be like, this is my life. I'm gonna be unhappy, or I'm gonna be this, or I'm gonna be that, and all these like negative emotions because of what life's thrown at you. But I want you to recognize that happiness is a choice you make for yourself. I've gone through things in school, in work, with friendships, in relationships, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, I choose to be happy. I choose to love life, because when you love life, life loves you back. When you put out positive energy comes back. Think about it. Every time that you've set an intention for your day where you're like, I'm gonna be happy today. I'm gonna have an amazing day today. You have an amazing day, because the universe and energy is something that's just so contagious. And at the end of the day, you have to choose to be happy. You have to choose that the trauma doesn't define who you are. You have to choose that every single day can be beautiful if you make it beautiful, if you choose that the intention of that day is going to be beautiful. So I urge you, when it comes to, trauma and things that you've been through in your life, to always recognize that the glass is half full. So guys, I'm just gonna say it. I'm an optimist, okay? I'm so optimistic when it comes to life and things. And I always just like see the good side of things. I think a lot of the times, like, this is my strength and my weakness when it comes to people and situations and things like that. But at the end of the day, like, it is who I am. It is who I am authentically in myself. And being able to see the positive in things has led me to have more meaningful experiences in my life, because I see things for my true authentic self. I don't try to like dim my light to meet the level of another person. I'm like, okay, this is who I am. I'm bubbly, I'm lively, I'm a happy person. And if I'm too much for that person, then it is what it is. I got a question from one of you that told me that, you like to do a lot of things and you like to like step out of the box and like do things that make you happy. But a lot of people have told you that that makes them think that you're asking for too much attention. I'm going to tell you, girl, go do it anyways, because it makes you happy, because it's authentic to you and what you believe in. And if another person wants to dim your light, that's their problem, okay? It's not your problem to fill that person's glass. Your glass is half full. It's always going to be beautiful and loving, because that's what you make out of it. You choose that for yourself. Don't let other people's energies and things interfere with you and your life. At the end of the day, happiness is a choice. If you've chosen to be happy, I'm so proud of you. And if another person has not chosen to be happy, that's their problem, okay? At the end of the day, radiate light, radiate love, radiate kindness. That is what this channel is literally all about. I created this channel to be able to give you guys a space to recognize that there is beauty in this world. The glass is half full. We can navigate through things. We can work through things together. And for you to have a space where you can know that there are optimistic people out there. There are half glass full people. And yes, we've been through trauma. We've all dealt with things. The world is not just like a happy place all the time, but we choose to make it happy. We choose to see things as good. And guys, one thing I'll tell you, every bad thing that's happened to you, every bad thing that's happened for me in my life has always taught me something. And you know what? The fact that it's taught me something is already glass half full perspective. Because if I didn't have that experience, I wouldn't have learned like half the things I do now. I remember in university, like my first year was really hard. It was really, really tough, where I had a lot of really negative experiences. And I actually thought for a minute, I was like, is this going to work for me? And you know what? I decided to take a glass half full perspective where I was like, it's actually teaching me something. And so I took that approach and I conquered university, and I did so well at the end of the day because I used that glass half full approach. And the same thing goes for relationships and my breakup. Because I recognized that this is something that can actually be a catalyst for my growth, I used that and leveraged it. And now I'm in a better situation and meeting amazing people that are more aligned with me. Same thing goes for friendships. I actually had to leave a friend behind that I was really close with and had a really meaningful connection with, but I recognized that wasn't good for me. And so I took that, learned from that situation, and now I have the most amazing group of girlfriends that a girl can only ask for. The people that I have in my life and the way I've cultivated my life today is a glass half full approach. It's taking all of the negative situations, all of the trauma that I've been through, and learning what I can from it, extracting the positives from it and taking that and shaping that into who I am today. So always recognize that happiness is a choice. Going through trauma, yes, we can't control it, but you can choose to take the positive out of it. You can choose to learn from it and allow it to shape your life for the better for your future. All right, guys, so that's all for our video today on our little girl talk chat. I really hope I was able to answer most of your questions. For those of you that I didn't get to answer your questions, I am so sorry. I will include them in our next video. If you send me a DM on Instagram and I'll compile a whole new list of questions. Also, I try to answer all of your comments and all of your questions to the best of my ability, but please bear with me. Sometimes life gets in the way. But as you guys know, I'm always rooting for you. You can do this. You can achieve all the things that you set your mind to. And I really hope that we can chit chat real soon because this was super fun. Okay, guys, so I believe in you. I know you can do it. And I'll see you next time.